Hello, we're going to do a little bit of educating today. We're going to go over the different types of tools that are used in the shop for blacksmithing specifically. So there are a plethora number of tools. I've tried to narrow it down to like 4 categories where most of these tools are going to be within. So the 4 that we have are striking tools, struck tools, holding tools, and hardy hole tools. Within this realm, you have measuring tools, Prichel tools, etc. But those right now are what we're working with. So we're going to go over striking tools first. These are hammers. We have a ball peen hammer. You have your flat side here. You have the ball end here. Now what this is going to do is when you hit this, hit the metal with this when it's hot, it's going to spread it out in every direction. You also can use this to make rivets. As you're working a knife or whatever, you can use it to shape it into a curve. This is what this tool is used for. We have a smaller sledgehammer. This is just used to move metal. It's going to scar the metal a lot. But yeah, this is just for moving metal. You're not really doing anything fancy with it. So then you have, I didn't grab it, but you have vertical peen hammers and cross peen hammers. This is a vertical peen hammer. The verticalness is going to spread the metal this way. The horizontal one's going to spread it this way. Then you have some that are like cocked on a 45. Those are just to make sure that you can get into the wherever you're hitting easiest. This is also a rounding face. It's used to move metal. And then we have the big hammers. I don't have all of them over here, but we have short-handled sledgehammers. I call it a switchback handle hammer. I don't know, I just always heard it that way. The next one that we're going to go over are the struck tools. So struck tools are like chisels, punches, drifts, which I didn't grab my drift over here, but you have different cutting tools, or chisels. I made this out of railroad spike. You can make them as fancy. This is a little drift, a square hole drift, and that's a punch that I'll use to like knock in where I'm going to drill the holes out for the handle pins. And then there's another one too. You just have different ones. You can make them fancy, you can make them not. They just have to get the job done most of the time. Now different punches, you're going to do like square, round. You can do triangle hole punches. It's just whatever that you have to use it for. Then you have another struck tool. Here's a cutting tool. This is a maul head on a really short handle. I'll use this to cut stuff sometimes. We have a hammer eye drift where we can use to start the holes for axes and hammers. And then the one that probably gets used the most in the shop right now is the flattener. If you make these tools, like I've done a lot of these, I wouldn't heat treat them if you don't know how to do it, but I would take and weld a ring around this where the striking face is, so it's going to keep that metal soft, because as you work it, metal mushrooms. Even if it's a hard tempered steel, it's going to mushroom. I also would run the welds down here to keep everything soft. Also, if they are handled, like the hammers or the cutting tools, whatever, if they're struck, you need to soak them in oil, because that's going to help keep the wood soft and shock resistant. The next type of tool that we're going to go over, this is probably one of the most important ones. These are the holding tools. These are tongs. I have these. These hold on to bars. This holds on circles. You can also grab bar with it, and you can fit it back up in here so you're holding on a much bigger bite. These are hammer tongs and axe tongs. So once you set the eye in there, you can grab them with this, and you can hold them, work them, do whatever you got to do with them. I call these, I guess these are wolf jaw tongs. I call them little nipper tongs. These are pot belly tongs. And then you have wolf jaw tongs, because they have rivets, or not even rivets, just little teeth that are knocked in right here. And these are good for holding on metal. They can hold punches real well if you have to use those for that. And then these are bar tongs too. You can hold it onto bars, or you can use them to grab hammers, what have you. The next one we're going to go over is very important too. These are Hardy tools. This is like, it sits down in the Hardy hole. It raises this up off. So if you're like forging in a ricasso, or you're forging in like a little shoulder for decremental stuff, it's whatever. This is a V-block. It doesn't look like it, but you use this to forge circles, make things circular, and you also use it to forge in triangles and all of that. That's a Hardy cutter. This one fits down in the anvil. You'll lay your hot stuff on there and you'll just hit it and twist it and it'll cut through it. And then this is like for forging in concave stuff. So if you're doing like spoons, or you're doing like a guard where it has to cover your hand, you'll just take it and you'll run it around it like that. And then you have the guillotine press. Mine is, I need to tighten stuff on it, but you have different dies you can put on there. These are rounding dies. All this does is help you start shoulders. It helps you forge in different stuff. I hope this has been helpful, a little educational. Y'all have a great day.